All right, 10 seconds.
5.
All right, 10 seconds. All right, have a great show, everyone.
Thanks.
Welcome to Amplified. We're the show that will help you take your message, whatever it may be, and get it out through social media, networking, and other marketing channels. Maybe even some that you've never thought of. Whether you're an organization, small or large business, or you just have the next positive message that's sure to go viral, you'll want to stay tuned this hour. Now, here's your host, Ken Rochon.
Well, happy Eclipsical Monday. How are you guys?
Doing well, Kenny.
We have a wonderful show today. I just want to say our sponsorship is with good old the Smiley movement and with Perfect Publishing. And we are so excited to have our guest today. Vicki was on our show last week, and she sent me a beautiful book right here. And I want to tell you, Vicki, this book is a book I want to publish. And I'll tell you why. Because you're too amazing of a person. And I want this cover and this, the testimonials, as well as a call to action to happen because you're just too phenomenal. I've run into you event after event. I've seen you in New York. I'm hearing a little bit of a reverb. So not sure.
We're getting some feedback on Vicki right now.
Yeah, Vicki, if you hit the mute just for a second.
Okay.
And there we go. So I just want to comment on the fact that thank you for sending this book last week. And you are on a show with Pagan Ed. And then I also got Nelson, you're not going to believe this, but she had someone paint me. And I don't know where she got the picture, but she painted a picture of me. And it is a beautiful sentiment. I love when people send cards, and I do read them. And I actually post them on the internet as well, or the social media. So she says, hi, Ken, thanks for making this happen. You're a delight to be with. Here's a bonus gift of the whole memory system for you and your son to enjoy. And my son is a big advocate of really training his brain. So I just want to say this is an Audible. I was actually going to watch it with my son, but it's a beautiful system here that I can't wait to dive into. And by the way, Vicki, you may set a record for being the person that actually not just gets on my show once or twice with a cameo, but given that you actually always play so big, I might have to have you in a third time to thank you after we listen to this. How about that? So you can click the mute off for a second. And I want to just ask you 3 super quick questions, and then we're going to get to know.
Okay.
So first of all, you are honestly one of my favorite people from a standpoint. I want to clarify that why you're so important to me.
Wow.
You always play big. You always take action, and you always have a smile, and you always are a giver. I mean, is that true? Did I not assess you? Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyone that has you as a friend is lucky. And
thank you.
The reason I brought you back for a second time, which is really against the rules, honestly, with my program, it's that I get 50 shows a year. I only get 50 leaders I can highlight, and that's the thumbs up. We're good. Moving towards the passage of when I'm supposed to exit, and I got everyone I possibly could on my show, right? So Nelson's a very special person, so you guys get a gift of knowing each other. That's one of the reasons Amplified even exists, is the Amplified leaders that actually create hope and also create community. And that's something true of both of you. So thank you for the book. Audience, I want to share something with you. I asked her to send me a book the next day. I was heading to Disney. I gave her the wrong address. She sent it to me. She spent $150. And I want to say this to you. Most people would not. I would, but I will tell you, most people would not. And I bring Vicki on to acknowledge the fact that she plays as big as I've ever seen. So you deserve to have the biggest impact, which is what I believe in. And you accompany it within, I don't know, hours of sending it with a nice card, a nice sentiment, and then a bonus gift on top of it all. So I just want to say, I feel your heart, Vicki. So you ready for the 3 quick questions?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. And it's well-deserved. So first one is, since you talked last week, we're going to send out that show as an accompaniment to the attachment so people can get to know you better. We met at Ernesto's event again for another time, but how many events, can you name the events and who they were? 3, right? That's what I thought. Okay.
It was New Orleans, Kimberly Crow,
Yep.
and Jenny Trask.
Yep.
Then it was New York when my second book was up on the Times Square
And that was
bulletin
Angel?
with Angel Tussey. And then this time with Ernesto in Las Vegas.
So it's kind of interesting, but I have a minor, there's no such thing as a minor epiphany, but I had an epiphany today that really relates to what you are saying and why I was actually thinking about you and saying, why is it that she keeps showing up? And it's because you never stop playing big. And so,
Oh,
and I want to say something beyond that is if you meet somebody really, really big and you don't get a chance to get their number, you don't get a chance to get a photo with them, if they're really playing big, you're going to see them again if you're playing big too. And that was my that was my epiphany. My epiphany is you cannot not see people that are playing big because you keep bumping into them because they're playing big if you are too. Isn't that funny?
that's great. Yeah, that's great. And
All
then
right.
and then I'm going to the keynote camp on the 22nd to the 26th in Fort Lauderdale with Kimberly Crow and Frank King.
Yes, and you told me about that, and I've already. I think I put a messenger out, and they're going to contact me. But I would love to be there. And so what happens is people like you cause information to actually disperse to people that need it, so they can actually play big as well. So I just want to acknowledge you for that too. So since you said a lot last week with Peg, how was the show with Peg and Ed, by the way?
Oh, it was delightful. Just delightful. Very sentimental because they both had an interest in memory training.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed said that it was extremely personal to him as well. And so I felt very blessed and very lucky.
Well, it's very special that Ed would come on the show just to say hi to you guys before the show starts to give you a thumbs up.
Oh,
And this is his book. I refer to it his book more than mine. I came up with the idea. His vocabulary is amazing. I did, I guess, in my dissertation, highlight hundreds of words that I wanted to learn that I learned during the dissertation. He applied some of them, but I want to give you the honors. This book has 100 words in it. You can give a page number and I'll read the word. Vicki.
100.
Wow, you're going to go for the big 100, huh? You just had to go there, didn't you? All right. So I'm going to the 100th page because that's easier to look up. So it's lexicon, the vocabulary of a person's language or branch of knowledge. Isn't that amazing that you picked that one of all words?
Hmm.
I mean, it's so cool that you picked that. That's probably one of, I'm going to guess that's one of Ed's favorite words in this book because it's about the vocabulary of a person. Isn't that cool?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, of all the words, I mean, if I read this word, I say Ed Caldwell. And by the way, this book is absolutely free to you today if you DM me and say Vicki picked lexicon, because anyone that picks lexicon is a person that deserves a free PDF book. So, by the way, I know that Ed's going to send you this book signed, so you're getting a gift back from us. Okay, Vicki?
Oh, thank you. That's lovely.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience, since you're one of the very few, if not one of the only ones who've been on my show?
I want people to know that memory training is not just good for the memory, but for the readiness of the mind. That's a quote from Aristotle. And not to wait till they have a memory problem to look for a memory system. That as you exercise your brain, this actually not only increases the brain regeneration in the brain, like brain sprouts, but it creates an electrical stimulation as you're practicing the visual linking method that helps you remember whatever's important to you. And that electricity gives you energy. So it works miraculously. And then as you practice it over time, it ends up not just strengthening your brain, but it gives you other abilities, almost like intuition, sometimes psychic abilities, but it's all in line with your own spirit. So it just helps you grow into all you can be. And that's why I stuck with it.
And how did you find this photo of me when I was only 19? This is crazy. I cannot believe you found this photo. So Nelson, she was told she was only at 5 minutes. She went over the 5 minutes. So I want to actually say something to you, sir, because I think she's touched your heart on some level. I'm going to ask her one more question, and you're going to ask her a question, and she's going to exit as she wishes, meaning you can listen to the show live, but you will not be in the show. Okay, is that fine, Vicki?
That sounds great.
Well, I have a question. Nelson, would you like to ask a question as well? Okay, so my question is what? Okay, before I do say it, if my mom did not have Alzheimer's, I would not be on the show with you because I would not have taken care of her, and I would not made a promise to her on her deathbed that I would do my first book. So everything you're doing, Vicki, is very important to me. It hits a nerve. It hits a spiritual connection to what I want to do with my life. So my question to you before Nelson asks his is why is this subject, why is the brain so important to you?
In my family, both sides have dementia. And I'm at the age where my aunt and uncle were, my grandma and my uncle were both entering nursing homes. And I'm not entering a nursing home. In fact, I'm launching a speaking career. And it's because of the memory system that it changed my fate, that I don't have a fear of getting Alzheimer's or dementia at this point because of the memory system and because I'm me.
So I got a bonus for you, not a question, but a bonus point. If my dad was not the character that is actually like the Notebook, I wouldn't be who I am right now because my dad said, no one will take care of my mom like I can, meaning him, while she's going through dementia. He did not believe anyone could take care of her. And he met her at age 16. And so my point is, Vicki, is that it's like glue with us. You and I actually really understand how the memory serves us, but also how people that lose their memory, how valuable it is. And so I just want to acknowledge how big this is for me to have you say what you just said. Because
thank you.
My dad could have said, we'll put her in a nursing home. Well, guess what? I don't need to play then. But I played every day with my dad for 2 years before she passed. And that caused me to say, my old life is not acceptable.
That's beautiful.
So
beautiful.
So are you, Vicki. All right.
Thank you.
Would you like to give a question, please?
Wow, I'm a little choked up here, guys. I didn't expect that to happen. Vicki, I just have one simple question. When it comes to dessert, what's your go-to? Ice cream, pie, or cake?
Cheesecake, New York cheesecake with graham cracker crumbs.
Now this is okay. So God is playing big today, man. I'm telling you, it's so funny you asked that question, and it's so interesting that you elicit that comment. So this is a full circle story, and Nelson, you're going to be blown away. By the way, after this show, I'm willing to have people back twice after this experience with Vicki, even if it's like a segue to the. It's like a baton switch, isn't it? So our show would not be the same if Vicki wasn't here. So Vicki's the baton to you, and maybe you're the baton to the next person. It's so crazy because I'm blown away by this. Ed Caldwell, the gentleman who interviewed Vicki and said, I got this. Enjoy your Disney vacation. I mean, Nelson, you have to understand, this is my first time like letting someone else take the reins. Peg Duchesne and Ed Caldwell interviewed Vicki and gave a spectacular, but they didn't have this book. They didn't have the book or the movie, the audio. And I said, full integrity, I have to have her back because she spent $150 to get it to me. So here's the thing that's weird. I mean, this is going to affect how I do my next compilation chapters. Ed Caldwell said, you need to go to Mosaic Church with your family. It's going to take your family life and bring the spirituality and connect you together. And we read Corinthians every single day. Love is patient, love is kind. We read that every single day now that we started going to church again. And I'm telling you, when you read that, you're programming your brain to what love is and how powerful love is. But my point is, guess what Mosaic does to bring men together once or twice a year? They do a poker tournament. I'm not kidding you. I'm not a gambling man. I don't pride myself in playing poker or wasting my time with it, but I'm a mathematician, and I'm not going to say I count cards or anything close to it. But I went to a gambling thing in Mosaic Church about 2 months ago. Wow, this is crazy. And there were 40 people there, and I ended up winning. I went from 3 tables to 1 table, and I won the whole thing. And the whole thing was $100 gift card to, drum roll, please, Cheesecake Factory. And we went to Vicki, we went to the Cheesecake Factory last night, and the only thing my son wanted was a piece of cheesecake. That's all he wanted. We had 100 videos. And so I'm blown away because it's the eclipse. I mean, Hoda and Jenna today are celebrating their 5th anniversary. And they're talking about how their friendship has grown. And, you know, a friendship that grows means it stays a friendship. A friendship that doesn't grow does not stay a friendship. And Nelson and I, without talking to each other maybe 3 or 4 times, we get each other like brothers. But Vicki, I tell you, the more I get to know you, the more I really appreciate you. And the more I really want to know you more. I mean, it's really amazing. You are such a strong person that in essence, you could actually push people away because you're so strong about your belief. And is it true?
I don't know about pushing people away, but it's possible.
How
It's
about people not
possible.
going to handle the fact that you're so committed to this topic? How about that?
Yes.
Because it's a very strong topic and it's a very strong commitment you have. And my point is, I relate to it, but I didn't know it related to you as like a champion savior type person. I mean, you're really helping people save the memory and also the context of what it is to be with people that are having mental challenges. I mean, that's really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want people to know that you can have a great brain and use the method and have an even, a greater brain, more than you even knew you had.
Well, I'm going to encourage you to send this to Nelson, Dr. Nelson, and I'm going to encourage you, Dr. Nelson, to not only connect, but send your book to Vicki. Okay. You guys do what you want, but you guys have both said hello to each other. I see in the chat, and I'll connect you guys formally with a beautiful Ken Nected. All right. Afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Nelson, you asked your question. Cheesecake caused that story. So God bless you. All right.
Can I just let people know real quickly how to reach me?
No way.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm actually teaching a Zoom call so anyone in the country can connect to How to Remember Names course on April 17th.
How to
And
what?
it's April 17th.
Okay,
How to remember people's names.
Okay.
It's a 2.5-hour program, and they can sign up if they go to brainsproutsmemory.com, and then it says names.
Okay, Nelson, I got to tell you, this is amazing. I did not know Vicki's name, even though I saw her 3 times. And for 2.5 hours, I repeated Vicki. And for 2.5 hours, I'm telling you, at the end of it, she was like, what is my name? And I said, Vicki. And she says, what is your name? Meaning you, Nelson. I said, Vicki. I mean, I knew everyone's name was Vicki.
You're a delight, Ken. Actually, I just want to share one thing.
Okay.
Your presence is so delightful and such an upliftment that when you left the New Orleans conference, you could feel the energy shift, that you weren't there anymore, and it just didn't have the same impact.
It's funny you say that because I'm honored that you said that, first of all. But when I'm giving value to an event, I purposely leave it early or come late to the event so that they can feel the shift. I hope they feel the shift is my point. So
yeah, it's amazing. All right.
Nelson,
Nice to meet you,
joke,
Dr.
that's actually true.
Nelson.
Nelson, that's actually true. I really do it. So you're back on, buddy. So thank you for the question to Vicki. I'll put you guys together so you guys have an enriched relationship, because Nelson is a favorite of mine too. He is such a cool dude. All right.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Vicki.
And listen to the show later because you're going to love Nelson. All right.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks.
All right, Nelson, I'm going to read your bio real quick. All right. All right. So Nelson, Dr. Nelson, I want you to help me with your last name. I don't want to butcher it. Say it.
Beltijar.
Beltijar, and that's the way it should be. Dr. Nelson Beltijar, entertaining international motivational educational speaker and honorary doctorate graduate from the Cornerstone Christian College in Christian Leadership and Business. He is a certified life and executive business coach, physical therapist, 3 times Amazon #1 bestseller, the author of Accidental Yet Globally Impactful blog with The Positive Drip. And by the way, The Positive Drip, I love that name. That's so cool, Nelson. He considers himself fortunate to have had the ability to participate, struggle, fail, and excel in many personal endeavors, as well as team and individual sports and business ventures. However, at the height of his professional career, he was faced with the, quotation marks, adversity of his life. And as a result, Nelson will lovingly be the first person to tell anyone without a shadow of a doubt that adversity truly introduces a person to themselves. And I agree with you. I just spoke about that with my mom. Had she not had that adversity, she wouldn't cause me to have mine. So I'll start off this program with a new way of actually saying hello. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I love you.
I love you, man.
We are so fortunate. Desiree first. Desiree Cruz was the author who took a step because Jesse said, do this book with Ken, do this book with Perfect Publishing, and he will take care of you. And it's called Where Women. And I should have them handy. I'll grab them in a second. But my point is, if it wasn't for her doing the book, I wouldn't have gotten closer to Jesse. It was like a full circle, keeps going, like an engine. And he invited me to Niagara Falls, and I said, I'd be happy to go. I meet you. And honestly, I feel like way less than like 10 minutes of the event, we were connected spiritually, like boom. And it was weird because I felt like I knew you for a long time. And I think that's what it was, is that that's why I felt so strongly. And we don't know that, I don't know the reason, but I'm going to tell you, you have an energy that makes people feel like I know you and I'm your friend, I'm your brother now. And I don't know if that affects everyone the same way, but for me, that's how you came across to me.
Well, thank you, Ken. Thank you. And it's true. Before we dive into the show, can I
Yes,
just share
sir.
a little story with your audience?
Of course. And I'm looking for the Warrior Women thing, so don't pay attention to me. I'm listening, by the way. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm usually calm, cool, collected 99.9% of the time. I met Ken at Niagara Falls at a speaking event, and he happened to sit behind me. And as fate would have it, has anybody ever lost their cell phone? I never do. But that one day I did. And this calm, cool, collected demeanor started to have that little bead of sweat come down. The vein was starting to pop on the side of my forehead. And it was my turn to almost be on stage to speak.
Right.
I couldn't find my phone. But literally, I did find it in the hallway, in my bag, in front of an elevator, because the bag had fallen off my shoulder. But the best part was, I found my phone and I saw 28 missed calls, 28 from this number I didn't know. And I go, who called me? And then I came down happy to find my phone. I see Ken walks up to me in his fantastic floral dress shirt. He says, Nelson, I went to the front desk to see if my friend had lost his cell phone, if he had found it. In fact, I tried to call your number to help you try and find it. And I go, is this your number? He goes, yeah. And I go, this is a guy I want to be friends with. End of story.
Thank you. And by the way, the reason I'm not wearing a floral shirt is I'm going to be on 3 podcasts today, not even including this one. Okay. And I have to wear this because amplifying the life of leaders that cause inspiration, hope, and create community. And you definitely do that. You know, someone that creates a compilation book, my hat figuratively is off to you, because I know in doing compilation books, it takes a very, very special host. The host has to have leadership power. They have to have massive patience. They have to practice the love is patient and love is kind, like over and over again. And you're basically growling cats, because the bigger a leader is, the more they're a cat. And that's why I love that particular drawing, is because even though I would consider myself more a lion than a tiger, cats, they will do the opposite of what you want them to do. But if you love them and they love you, they'll say, okay, now that I showed you you're not the boss, now I'm going to go ahead and do what you wanted me to do anyway.
Yes. Cats have staff.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So I did find the 2. So what's so amazing about Desiree is she didn't do 1 book, but she did 2. And what's critical about that is anyone can do 1 book that doesn't impact the world, but you can't do 2, because 1 had to impact the world for you to say, I'm going to do a second, or you have to be so impacted by what happened when you're doing it that you'll do it again. And so I've heard rumors that there's a number 3 coming out, but if it wasn't for Desiree, I wouldn't have met you because I'm telling you, the relationship I had with Jesse was a relationship, but Desiree caused to be cement. And then the New York experience that Vicki spoke of happened because of Desiree. It was her show to bring all her ladies together, which caused Angel to bring Vicki and all the ladies she brought. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Amazing.
So the reason I want to do your book is because I want to show you that this word belongs with your book, not just who you are. And you had one of, gosh, I'm going to say that we don't have, this is such a good thing. This is programming here. Like if Larry King was here, he'd be like, man, you orchestrated this beautifully, but this is all off the cuff. So we are going to go to break pretty soon. And I don't want to give away the story you shared on stage at Jesse's event. And I don't want to give away how much that event impacted you either. So we're going to have that as our comeback. But what I want to ask you before we go to break is, why did you do the book?
Why did I do the book? When I was going through my adversities through life,
You have 1 minute so we can have the cliff.
I didn't have a role model to hang on to. I didn't have a face that looked like mine to believe that it's possible for someone like me to get through it. And I realized there are other people, other faces, other stories out there that might be able to relate to someone out there who's looking to climb out of whatever hole they're currently stuck in. And that's why I did the anthology.
That's friggin' beautiful. And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Gandhi's quote that is most misinterpreted or misspoken, but it means basically be the change you want to see in the world. You wanted to create something for people that couldn't see it so that they could actually get it from you or get it from your book and your message. That's really beautiful. So we have a nice show for the segment coming back. Anything you want to say about Vicki before we head out to the break?
Can't wait to grab her book.
and her Audible. I said I was going to watch this, and I have to say, we had a show last night. The Beekeeper. Have you heard of it? The Beekeeper. It's a new movie. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So we watched it, and it was like befuddled with the circle thing that doesn't allow the movie to happen. We don't know if it was Verizon, we don't know if it was Amazon, but we could not get the movie to play. And Ed was the one who caused the Cheesecake Factory to happen for me. So I wanted to thank him by having him over to see The Beekeeper, because he won't watch movies. He just won't. He likes to read. He likes to write. I mean, so I'm like, you have to watch this. And he goes, okay, it'd be a pleasure because I do like that character. And we took an extra 40 or 5 minutes plus an extra $15 to buy it again because it would not work. So we had to buy it again. So Kenny today is going to learn how to talk to Verizon and Amazon about what it is to experience something that's not supposed to happen. He's only 10 years old. And he said to me, yes, I'll talk to Amazon and Verizon. And the reason I say it's so important is because I never fathomed at age 10 I had power. My son, because he's written 12 books, knows that you can communicate, you can have power. And you saw his books. So we'll be back in 2 minutes to hear more from Dr. Nelson. You will be blown away. This is going to be the part of the show that you will be blown away because he's going to share a story that, in my opinion, is a champion story, and it deserves actually to inspire many people to step into their power to be on stage and write a book. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
All right, perfect. Good job. We're all clear. Back in a couple.
Okay. All right, so we're live on Facebook right now, Nelson. What I want to go really, really powerful in the second segment. I want you to talk about your book. I want you to talk about some of the people in the book. I want every single person that has influenced your power to be brought into the second part of the show. I want the nuggets to happen, and I want your big vision of what you want to create in this year, because we created. Got it?
People who aren't in the book also who influenced my life.
That's fine. Yeah, it's only about how we actually leverage all the people that make you. Because what I'm trying to establish in this new Amplified is that someone does not create themselves. They are created with the influence of others. And that could be books, it could be people. And so it's name dropping, but it's more about gratitude. It's more about gratitude and acknowledgement. So that part causes them to understand, because I'll tell you, the biggest misunderstanding people have, in my opinion, is that when they live big, they don't know how many people they affect. And here's the interesting thing: the people they affect when you have this great meal that's given to you every single day, you start getting lazy about saying thank you. And when you have this great meal that's served by an amazing chef, you don't go by and hug the chef enough because it starts becoming the norm. So what I'm trying to create and amplified in the second version is that when we have something that happens to us, we never forget it came from them, because they'll stop giving if they don't hear at some point that it makes a difference. Got it?
Absolutely.
That's our show, brother.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, you make me cry already, but I mean, dude, I didn't know you'd remember that. That's so amazing. I didn't know that you'd remember. And by the way, you know how easy it was to help you find your phone? I'm going to tell you how easy it was. Everyone was in their mode, and it's nothing to be guilty about. It's no finger pointing, but they're in their mode of, how do I win? And I was thinking, he can't win unless I become him and I help him. Because you were going to get sunk in, where is my phone? I said, I can't let that happen to anybody. It wasn't, by the way, it wasn't about you. It was about, no one could have that happen. Because I know what it feels like. I've lost my phone, and your heart goes like this. It goes up, and you can't think about anything. And it's causing all this crap to happen in your life instead of what you're supposed to be thinking of, which is to inspire. Dude, I would have done 60. I mean, I would have gone forever, because I wanted that phone to be found, because I knew no one would steal it. That's the point I knew. And I knew it was misplaced. That's all.
15 seconds.
All right. It's going to be about 12 seconds, by the way, Nelson. Actually, it's going to be about 8 seconds.
This is Amplified. To reach the show today, please call 1-866-472-5790. That's 1-866-472-5790. We also would love to hear from you via email to info@theumbrellasyndicate.com. Now, back to Amplified.
All right, this is Ken Rochon. We are back with Amplified. Big acknowledgement to Jeff Spinard. Jeff Spinard is my big, beautiful broadcast brother up in the sky. During the pandemic, he did not survive it, but he is the one who created the platform of Voice America. And I just want to give a shout out to Vicki for sending me the bonus. We're going to listen to this. I think Ed is going to love this as well. And she may send a copy to you. If she doesn't, when I listen to this, Nelson, you're invited to listen to it too. How about that?
Can't wait.
When I saw you, we didn't have this logo. And we also didn't have the ability to flip the card, so that no matter when you flip it, it's always the logo. You do know that most business cards are printed so you can actually flip them, and they're actually readable both times, right? Do you notice it's not readable? Half the time it's not readable.
Right. Yeah. I didn't realize it till right now.
Well, because when you get a vertical card, you want to flip it. So when you flip it this way,
Yes.
see it this way every time.
Uh-huh.
It's a trick, because it's not a magician's trick. It's just the point of, when you have something thin, you would flip it. And so it always shows up. So why did we change this logo, Nelson? I wouldn't expect you to know the answer, but you met us when our logo was different. Our logo looked like that. We rocked this logo from 2011 all the way to 2024, technically. So is it a little different in the logo?
Yes.
Massive. So
Yes.
I'm going to give you some credit to this. One person that caused me to do this was Ken Courtwright. He made a new website for us. Another person was like Jesse Cruz. Another person was Jose Escobar. And all these people caused me to think of, who is my brand now? So when you do a brand initially, your brand might be, it's friendly, it's poppy, it's something kind of nice, right? Right?
Yes.
This logo means something totally different. I'm going to share it with you, but before I do, would you like to share what you see in this logo versus that logo, just to see what you think?
I see that logo is almost like, I see it, and I can see it as a crest on your chest, and you would wear it like a superhero.
God bless
That's what
you.
I see.
You're good. You're good. So what I came up with, ironically, I just got a Tesla because my other one got hit, and I got it. And I thought about it. What does Elon Musk stand for? He stands for relentless showing up to completely disrupt an industry. That's what he does. He did it with PayPal. He did it with SpaceX. He did it with Tesla, right? So, not to be mean, but I believe that the publishing industry shows up to make a book for people. And what I think is you don't make a book for a person, because if you make a book, it doesn't make a difference. It just makes a book. But to make a difference, you'd actually have to be a partner. So the partner is, one of the P's is the client and one of the P's is us. I don't care which one you pick. But you only pick partners that want to change the world, which is the crown. And that, my friend, is why the logo had to change. Because we're only working with people like a Vicki, like you. We're only like potentially 99% of the people that want to work with Perfect Publishing. It's not that they're going to be denied. It's they're not ready to actually show up to be hungry and make a difference in the world. And it's nothing against them. It's just about, we only have so much time we can do to make a difference in the world. We want to choose people that are ready to do it. Got it? And that's why you and I click. Because when you shared your story on stage, I said, that's a guy I want to work with, even if I work for free. Honestly, Nelson, even if I work for free with you, I would do it because I believe in who you are. So would you be kind enough to share your story that normally happens in the first segment, to be clear, but this was a bonus because Vicki spent $150 to send a book to me. Isn't that crazy?
I love it.
Yeah, because the whole thing could be, Vicki, I'm sorry, you don't get to show up. The book came to the wrong address because I gave the wrong address. Sorry, it's my fault. Bye-bye.
It's amazing how everything seems to unfold
If
the
you
way
wanted
it's supposed to
to,
be.
yeah, and if you wanted to unfold in a way that you would want it to unfold for yourself.
Yeah.
So, sir, your presentation on the stage was a gift. It was a gift. It was so friggin' inspirational. Take the time you wish. I'd like you to share as much as you'd like, from who you are to what you brought to the stage and why you chose that story. Would you be kind enough to do that? And by the way, take your time.
Does your show run 24 hours in a row?
We're going to, when we stop it, we're going to go to record, and we're going to go record, and we're going to go record. We'll do 1 hour at a time. We'll do 23 hours straight. It'll be the ecliptical story of Dr. Nelson.
Yes, we will eclipse the eclipse of today.
If you keep it less than 7 minutes, I do have some other questions.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise I'll get this story out. But I just, I miss this guy. I haven't seen him since Niagara Falls. I may shoot him a voice message every now and then, or a text, just so he can hear my voice, just to get under his skin. But this guy's a solid guy, and I'm blessed that I can say that he's my friend and I'm his. Now, this story that he's alluding to, before I get to start anything, I need to tell the world that me, Nelson Beltijar, is nothing but an imperfect soldier for Jesus Christ. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. And if I'm still allowed to stay after saying that, I will continue my story. Can I stay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Nelson Beltijar from Toronto, Canada. And I know what it's like to climb that mountain of ambition and success, get to the top, enjoy the view for a while, and slowly come crashing down, spiraling down, losing everything that I ever worked for in a blink of an eye. Talk about humbling, so humbling. I was lucky enough to build a thriving physical therapy private practice that specialized in injury assessment, treatment, and rehabilitation. And I'll never forget this. It was in May 2016. I was sitting on the second floor of my loft, staring out at Lake Ontario, and I leaned back in my chair and I went, I made it. I did it. I got to my personal professional mountain. I climbed, I reached the dream. I did it. And I took a breath. And then 14 days after that moment in time, I got a phone call from my doctor saying that I was diagnosed with cancer. And then by the end of June, I was hospitalized, getting chemotherapy treatment. I was under supervision. And on top of it all, I lost my ability to walk, and I was stuck in a wheelchair for like another 3 years. But that's the easy part of my journey. And the reason why I share this story is adversity is a word that no human being on the planet will ever escape. Agreed? Yeah. And when adversity shows up, what are you going to do? You're going to crumble beneath it or find a way to conquer over it. Adversity doesn't care about your age, gender, religion, or status. It'll come for you anytime it wants. Long story short, you can see I survived. But the most important thing I want to share with you is that they thought I was going to die. I said, I'm not going to die, even though all I could do.
How long ago was that?
2016, June 2016. All I could do, you see me dynamic on camera every now and then, but all I could do was this. My friends and family could say, all I could do was just open my left eye to communicate. That was it. I couldn't even put words together. But that last line in my bio that Kenny read, it still gets me in the heart every time I hear it, where adversity truly introduces a person to themselves. And I promised myself that this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road, man. And you're forced to look at yourself. Now what? And that adversity that I went through, overcame, and had victory over, that adversity forced me to become a more stronger, more resilient me. That adversity made me understand the power to fight instead of falter. That adversity inspired one last undying goal dream, which was a blog that I wrote. And the reason I wrote that was because I thought I was going to die. And the people in my life I love, and they know I love them. At that moment in time, I had a 6-year-old nephew, a 5 and 3-year-old niece, and 2 brand newborn twins had come into my life as a niece and nephew. And I knew I wasn't going to get a chance to see them grow up, possibly. I still want to find a way to be a part of their lives. So I wrote this blog called thepositivedrip.com, where every entry was literally a topic of conversation that I might have with them as they got older. So that way I could still be a part of their lives after I was gone. Uncle Nelson would still be in their ear, but through text. And that is what kept me going. Instead of me accepting that I'm going to die, I woke up every morning when I could, give myself an audio recording of a chapter or of a blog post I want to put up for them. But the ironic part is September 2019, my brand new cancer doctors at a different hospital stamped me cancer-free because the first cancer doctor gave up on me and said, there's nothing we can do for him except put him in the palliative care unit. And I promise he'll be comfortable with his remaining days. I said, I don't think so. That's not the plan. And I won and I'm here. And then I promised myself that I am not going to waste the rest of my days. And maybe one day I'll go visit that first cancer doctor and I'll help him readjust his tie one day and say, I'm still here.
That is such an important message that you create in perception the reality if you believe it enough. So it's crazy, but just the beginning of a day, you can say, this will be a horrible day and you will prove it. And when someone says you have cancer, you can actually say, oh, I have cancer, I will die. Or you can say, I have cancer, I will overcome, or I will live, or I will not let it beat me. And by the way, we did a book called Don't Waste My Cancer. And it was about the resiliency of actually overcoming it and having your life matter, whether you make it or not. But that was a really cool mindset. And we've done 2 volumes of that, Nelson. And the reason I said I would work for free for you is because your message with what you just said, what you said on stage and what you're doing, you need to have this word or this action And it takes lots of money. It takes lots of commitment. Nothing you're short of, by the way, but it takes the skill set of actually causing, where in the world are they hearing about you? And it's a scary thing. But when you say, if I go to such and such a place, does anyone know me? If no one knows you, your marketing is not effective in that area yet. And so we really are committed to people like you that have a message that just needs some polish and just needs some tipping point action so you can actually create it. But your heart's there, bro. You always, I mean, you totally are the guy. And so how many your father?
Not yet.
Yeah. So you're an uncle to my son, at least, right? I'm going to show a book to you right now, right? Kadima. That's the gentleman. It's from the Philippines. You know what Kadima means by any chance?
No, I don't.
It's Hebrew. It means to take action, to move forward. It was interesting that when Marcial Dumlau said to me, I have this book I want to do. I've been to the Holy Land. I'm from the Philippines, but I speak Hebrew. I go to the Holy Lands. I claim my life. I claim that I'm a leader. I claim that I want to make a difference in the world. And he told me the name of his book. It was the funniest conversation I've ever had with an author. I said, okay. He said, do you know what Kadima means? And just like you said, I don't know. He told me, and I couldn't believe how big a smile I got when he said Kadima means take action. So when we were done with it, I go, I guess you have to make the book. And he goes, huh? I said, you said your book's called Kadima. So what did you learn from that event? Because Jesse has this event called Mike's Story, and it's about honoring people that have a story that could change the world, and they compete to have the best story, to have votes from everybody, cause them to be the number one person. And it was a tough field that time. I mean, there was all great speakers, I thought. I mean, there were so many people that could be number one. And there were some people that didn't win that legitimately could say, I thought I won. And they could, because it could come down to one vote. So what did you learn from that experience?
Well, the biggest thing I took away, when you're out there with your sword, slashing, fighting for people out in the front, you're out in the front, you might not be there because you wanted to be. It might be because everybody took a step back, and then you're looking to the right and left, and you're out there by yourself. But Kadima, I got to take action. And then when I got to Niagara Falls, oh man, I was sitting in a room with a whole bunch of dragon slayers in that room. And just to be in there, sitting around, looking around, like I purposely sat at the back. Normally I'm a front seater, but I sat at the back just so, actually you were behind me. I sat at the back just so I could soak in the energy and power of each person. Like I was purposely trying to soak their energy up into me.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when it was my turn to speak, I would be ready. And as fate would have it, I drew the number 1 card, so that plan didn't work.
What did you think of Niagara Falls? I mean, you've been there before a lot, probably.
I love it. It's a place where I get to go to escape. I live in Toronto, and Toronto is a place where it can get busy with work and everything. But it's one of those places where I may go with friends of mine an hour and a half away. It's far enough that you're far enough, but close enough that it doesn't take forever to get there. And it's a great place to go. But like I said, the biggest takeaway from being a part of that Mike's Story is to realize that I'm not alone. There are other dragon slayers out there, and we just got a chance to assemble for 2 days, and then I got to go back into my arena and do my thing.
We got to see a gentleman, super talented world record holder, Danny Z. What did you think of that?
Amazing. He was entertainingly amazing. Wow.
He normally entertains, like, I don't know, 1,000 to 10,000 people. And he was in a room with 30 people acting as if we were 10,000 people. I mean, he just gave us everything. And he's got a Christmas story I hope to be publishing. I wanted to say that we have about 6 minutes. I want to go into some deep dives into some questions with rapid fire, but I wanted to share with you some people. If it wasn't for this gentleman here, Ernesto Verdugo, who created this book about AI, I wouldn't have met Vicki again, which caused her to be on the show with you. Isn't that crazy? Like
Wow.
the little things that are dot connectors. This guy, J.R. Spear, I want to get these books to you, by the way, Nelson. That's my point of showing them. This guy here has a company that actually builds networks inside cities. So I want to get you connected to him because he's such a super duper dude. In Tampa, this guy has made Tampa the #1 city we're going to. And I want to connect you to him. You know why? Because he has something called Checkmate, 52 strategies with 52 authors to make your business more profitable and your life more enjoyable. So he's got a book called Checkmate. And the most important thing for me is I have my 8th day. I'm not at 10 yet, but I created this book called The Entrepreneur 100 Challenge. And I'm going to make sure you get a copy of this. And it's actually how do you commit to your body, your spirit, your mind to give and give gratitude to people for 100 days while you do 100 minutes of sweat or movement to get your body. So you actually transformed your body. Tell the audience about that.
I went from being completely healthy, athletic, high performance.
Tell about the athletic. What were you playing?
I played every single sport that wasn't in the water.
Got it?
And then I lost it. I lost my ability to be mobile. And that was humbling. I lost everything. Professional, physical, personal. I lost everything. But you almost have to to go right down to the bottom and then climb back up into that next version. I went from caterpillar to butterfly, and I'm okay with the way the story's unfolded so far.
Well, it's God's awakening. I wouldn't have expected I'd be a podcast host or a publisher or any of these things. I was a DJ for 30 years. So we got rapid fire. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
I say a question quick. You say an answer quick. We go as many quick as possible. A book that changed your life.
The Bible.
A movie that inspires you.
Jerry Maguire.
What quote do you live by?
Pray not for an easy life, but the strength to endure a difficult one.
Who would you want to meet you haven't met?
Jesus Christ.
Who's your hero?
My dad.
Favorite song?
He passed away a year before, 2020. He never got a chance to see me do this.
What's his favorite song?
I Only Have Eyes for You.
Isn't that a great one? Not everyone could tell you that's the Flamingos. 1955. I love that song.
Amazing.
It's
Beautiful.
one of my favorite songs. So your dad and I are aligned. Okay. What's your favorite song?
Oh, Better Place.
What's your favorite moment with your dad? Short answer.
He came to watch me play football with a video camera.
What's the most important thing he said? Short answer.
Proud of you.
Very funny. This is the last God moment I'm going to say when we're down to 2 minutes. I'm going to say this. There's a story by a gentleman who did a TED Talk, and he said the son needed approval every single day, and he couldn't get approval from his dad. His dad was too busy. He was too important, blah, blah, blah. And when he got straight A's in college, he called his dad and said, Dad, I got straight A's in college. Are you proud of me? And his dad did not say yes. He said, I'm busy right now. Can we talk later? And he hung up. The son said, there's no way I'll ever please him. He went to drugs and alcohol and threw his life away. And I say this to you, Nelson, thank you for evoking every single thing that's happened in my life right now, everything that's happened in my life, to say this is why we have to be doing this.
And if I can't, I need to shout out to my mom.
You have to shout out to your mom.
Have to.
Anyone you want to. So go ahead and say who your dad is, who your mom is, and who anyone is that you'd like to acknowledge right now, because this show is about gratitude. Go ahead.
My dad is Gregorio Yerko Beltijar. He's a man who came from humble beginnings, never complained, condemned anybody. And he just worked hard, worked the plan. He worked hard. I learned how to work hard from him, work smart from him. And I learned from my mom how to love people. So between my dad and my mom, myself and my sister, that's who I am today. I work hard, love people, and hopefully I get a chance to do it for remaining, who knows, you and I, brother.
That's right. And by the way, my 60th birthday is coming up in August, and I have every intention of doing either your book or doing a book with you. So know that I am actually making this announcement live on the air that you could be one of the 60, because I'm down to about 5 books left to do to get to 60. My son, who's done 12 books by the age of 10, inspired me to say, Daddy, if I do 4 more books at age 8, I'll have 10 books on my 10th birthday. Well, he surpassed, he did 12. So I am on a plan to make 60 happen. We are Voice America. This is Ken Rochon. If you know somebody like Dr. Nelson who's changing the world and you want to inspire the world, this show Amplified will amplify their spirit and also their message. We'd love to have them and connect them to all the people that we've already introduced. Have a great week. Keep smiling. Dr. Nelson, thank you very much for being on the show. I love you.
Love you, man.
All right, terrific. Good job, guys. We are clear.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to take off the stop recording.